Hello.
Uh,
You're supposed to open the show.
oh, sure. Okay, but hey, you guys. So, welcome to today's episode of Bring It in the House. My name is CARIS Bates. I am the college intern. This is my first year and first time interviewing as well. But today with this show, of course we're continuing to celebrate the 4 year anniversary. So yay! And today we're
Yay.
going to be interviewing the CEO and founder, Miss Millie Mills. Today.
Well, thank you, Karis. Thank you so much. It's kind of different being on this side. Yeah, I'm usually the one in your seat. So it's an honor to be here. We need to set our thing here on Facebook. Make sure that we are live. Are we live on Facebook yet? Here we are. There we go. Yeah, we had to get that all set up. In case you guys are just tuning in, this is Bring It in the House podcast show where we spotlight musicians, entertainers, artists, and leaders. And of course, I'm the host of the show, but we're turning things around this time. Karis is the host, and she'll be asking the questions. We're celebrating our 4 year anniversary, 4 years on the air. Where is everybody tonight? Come on and join us. You know, it's a Saturday night and I ain't got nobody. Don't get me to try to sing, Carrie. It's up in here, up in here. I'm also excited because we just finished up the Boule. I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and I'm a member of the Beta chapter here in Austin, Beta Psi Omega chapter here in Austin, Texas. And we celebrated our 71st biennial Boule last week in Dallas, Texas, at the Dallas Convention Center. We had 28K attendance, well, over 28K attendance last week, and they just wrapped up Thursday. I came back a couple of days early, but it's good to be home. But it was so great to celebrate with the sorors of Alpha Kappa Alpha. I should have loaded some pictures, but it's not about all of that right now. We love AKA, but right now we're talking about Bring It in the House podcast show. We thank you so much. I'm going to let Karis take it from here. She's going to be asking me the questions this week. I thank you so much, Karis. We're just so proud to have you. Let's give a hand for Karis. She is a communications major, mass communications major at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, UAPB, Pine Bluff, Arkansas, HBCU University. Woo!
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yes, it's like I said, it's your turn to rock it. So you're getting graded on this, guys. She's getting a grade for this. She is going to be interviewing me. So without further ado, I'm going to be quiet and I'm going to turn it over to Karis Bates. Our last names are so close. I'm Bats and she's Bates. Yeah.
Okay, so to start it off, the first question is since this is the 4 year celebration, can you kind of discuss on what inspired you to kind of put the podcast together, where your inspiration basically came to even start off a podcast show in general?
Okay. Thanks. That's a good question. My inspiration came because I've been in broadcasting communications for over 25 years,
Mhm.
and I don't know if I have a touch of ADHD or something, but I kind of get bored with things sometimes, and
Yeah.
I have a thirst for knowledge. I like to keep learning new things, learning something different all the time.
Hmm.
And after being on air for so long, I kind of wanted a thirst for the corporate world. I said, I want to get over in corporate America. I want to learn something more. So it's like it's like I prayed to a genie or something, because when I made that request, it became like boom, almost that quick. Ended up getting out of broadcasting and got over at State Farm, because the company that I was with, they closed their doors. That was Disney. Um, the headquarters for the broadcast department for Disney was in Dallas for many, many years.
Okay.
Dallas, Texas. Yeah. And they had the ABC radio networks is
Hmm.
what they had the radio end of, you got ABC TV, and they got he had ABC radio portion of it, and I felt really honored to be able to work there. There was like I think 10, maybe 10 formats in one building. You had everything from gospel to pop to rock to R&B, classic hits. They were all housed under one umbrella, and then you had Radio Disney. They
Mhm.
were all there, and so that was my love. That I loved doing that, but I also wanted to learn more. So of course, I got my undergraduate bachelor's in 1988, but I went back to school in 2002 and
Mhm.
got the master's in organizational management. And that's when I finished up in 2004, and I felt like hey, I want to learn more. I want to get over in corporate America. And like I said, it was kind of like a gradual transition because I got a chance to teach theater. I got a chance to do that for a year. But I still remained I had a weekend shift, syndicated shift where we were heard in like, I don't know, about 60 markets. But um, it was in 2013, I believe. Yeah, 2013 when after leaving Disney, ABC radio networks because I knew they were shutting down. They completely
Yeah.
shut the doors
Yeah.
in 14. And so I had managed to get over. State Farm was starting a new, brand new regime with the express claims. They were the first insurance company to get to do the call center, like have that type of call center structure where
Right.
you're handling massive claims at one time uh, at a fast pace. Like you get into an accident and stuff like that, and injuries and all that. So I got over with that team, and I did it for a while, but over a period of time, I missed my true love. It just kept calling me.
Right. Right. Right.
And not only was it calling me from within, I
Mhm.
started to get little messages from longtime friends or people who knew me when I was in radio back in Memphis, Tennessee, back in the day.
Mhm.
Every now and then they reach out to me on Facebook, like, "Hey, we remember when you were in radio in Memphis. We loved Millie Mills. You used to do the Quiet Storm, all of that. You ever think about getting back into things like in radio?" I said, "Well, I tried to get back in it. It's just hard now." And they were like,
Mhm.
"Well, maybe you should do a podcast show." I was like, "Huh?" I was
Right.
like, I don't even know how to get that started.
Mhm.
So I kind of like, I appreciated a compliment, but then I kind of dismissed it.
Mhm.
And I was like, whatever. And then, maybe a year or two later, someone else from my past, a guy used to, was acquainted, Solomon. What's up, Solomon Breezy out of Memphis? He reached out to me in case you ever see this episode, Solomon. I'm giving you your props. I'm giving it to you
Right.
because he was like, maybe you should do a podcast show. And I was like, I don't even know how to get that started. I thought I had to buy a bunch of equipment, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? A bunch of expensive equipment and hire a big team for all that. I just didn't even know how to start it. And just the sound of my own, podcast show just sounded exhausting. I was like,
Right.
I can't do all that right now. Long story short, when COVID came around in 2020, everybody was
Mhm.
pretty much at home doing their
Yeah.
thing. And that's when a young lady I used to work with in Memphis market, Tina Tilton, she has her own podcast production. She even reached out to me and she's like, "Millie, are you doing anything in broadcasting right now?" And I was like, "No." She's like, "What do you
Mhm.
think about doing your own podcast show?" And I was like, again, um, mm, I don't know how to put that together. And then, of course, Tina made me an offer I couldn't refuse. She was like, "Hey, we can produce your show for a nominal fee. You just got to be responsible for your own guests. We're not going to get the guests for you. You'll be responsible for that, but we'll do everything else."
Right.
And I said, "Okay." And she's like, "Well, what day do you want to launch it?" And I told her July 8th, and we went for it. Here we are,
Right.
4 years
Right.
later.
Right.
I know there was a long, long story there, but yep, that's how it
No,
went.
but that's really cool how it just came, like it all just came and flew together, like like you said, it's kind of like it was meant to be in a way.
Yes, it
Mm.
just exactly, Karis. It just kind of once we got it going. I mean, my first episode, I was a little stiff, because I'm a
Right.
shy person. So I was kind of like just really just looking in the camera and just kind of like, "Ooh." Black Light Hip Hop was my very first guest.
Mm,
Shout out to Reginald DeVore and his beautiful family, Sasha and their two boys, handsome young men. Well, Black Light was my first guest. Black Light Hip Hop. I'm sure he's from he's from Austin, but I'm sure he's doing his thing, touring all over right now. So shout
right.
out to him. And I didn't know how long I was going to keep doing it. I thought it was just going to be maybe a couple of episodes, and then
Mm,
But again, here we are 4 years later. So this entire month, Caris, this entire month we're going to be doing paying our tribute
right.
to God, to God for allowing us to keep going like this. So we thank you, God, and thank everyone for tuning in whenever you guys can.
Right. Okay, so another question, because you kind of mentioned, like, as you said, of course, you have people reaching out to you and, wanting to know to hear from you what you were doing. So, in the midst of that, and like you said, you kind of said, like, you didn't know, like, where to start, but eventually you did. So, can you kind of explain, like, some of the challenges that you faced in building your podcast and your brand and, like, how you overcame them, especially with, like you said, during COVID as well? So,
Okay, well, again, I think it was just favor with God because every time when I kind of get a little concerned about who's going to be on the show next, it's
right.
like out of nowhere, either an idea will come to mind, and I'll reach out to someone because I kind of know a few people, from
Mhm.
working in radio and
Right.
going to college. A lot of my, colleagues, former colleagues, whatever, they're very successful in this field. Like Donald Friesen, he's a successful
Mhm.
choreographer, and he's choreographed so many groups. He was a dancer for the NBA team in Memphis, Tennessee, the Memphis Grizzlies.
Mhm.
So yeah, he was a choreographer for them for about 10 years, I believe, and then he went. He choreographed for an amusement park that was legendary, like in Memphis, called Liberty Land. He
Mhm.
was one of the main choreographers for Liberty Land for many years. So if you live near Memphis, I know some of the older people my age, you know about Liberty Land because we used to all, we're going to Liberty Land. That was a big deal, right? And so Donald has toured and choreographed for so many artists. So I think he
Mhm.
was the third guest, second or third guest on the show. And then it's like, and every time I was like, who else can I ask? God to give me an idea. I reach out to like Natalie Collins in Memphis, Tennessee. She's now known as the Queen of Bill Street. And she was my
Mhm.
best friend when I lived in Memphis at one time. Natalie and I were thick as thieves. Congratulations, Natalie, on all your success. I believe she was the third guest on the show. And
Mhm.
um, and then, you know, sometimes people will recommend guests for me. Some of my
Right.
friends like, hey, put this person on. You think you can get this person on? And it just started coming to me, just like that. So
Yeah. That's very cool though, again. Just how, like I said again, how it's all just came together for you. Um,
thank you.
yes. Also, so I kind of, well, since I am a first year intern, I kind of see like the behind the scenes, everything that you do. But also, I wanted to ask you, like, how do you balance everything? Because, like, it's like you have a lot under your belt, all the degrees that you have, and, just still having an everyday life and a podcast show. Like, how are you able to just balance everything at once and be able to stay organized?
That's a good question, Karis. Time management is a skill. It really is a skill, and you have to prioritize. You can't do everything in one day, but you might want to make a list of all the important tasks that you want to complete within that day, and try to stay on task as much as possible. You know, if you don't write it down, have it bullet in your mind, note to self, these are the things I need to do, this is what I want to get done today. And no matter what, if you can't, stick with it, complete, check, check, check. And try to have a window is like,
Mhm.
I want to have this done by this time, and, and attain those little small goals, just kind of compile them and knock them out one at a time. That's what works for me. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me see. Somebody gave us a thumbs up.
Ooh, I
Thank you
cannot.
so much, guys. I saw a thumbs up somewhere. I see a couple of thumbs up. Thanks for tuning in to the show. This is our four-year anniversary here for the podcast show, and I'm the guest, and Karis is interviewing me today. Ta-da!
All right.
So,
Well, since more people are joining, another question, since you pretty much gained a good follow over the last 4 years, you pretty much gained a great like following and keeping up with your listeners. So with that, like, how did you come up with like your approach or like how to engage with your listeners or even get people to make to make them want to just join or just watch your podcast? Like, how did you kind of engage? How do you engage with your listeners? I would say.
well, I do a little research, before I bring the guest on. I
Mhm.
go to all their different sites, like their YouTube channels, if they have a YouTube channel, their
Right.
social media channels, and things like that, and see what all they have going on. If they have upcoming events, that's my opportunity to spotlight. They
Hmm.
have a show or performance coming up. We get a
Right.
chance to market that and just give kudos. I think it's all about giving back, because the show is not about me, even though it might seem like it is right now. But
Yeah.
no, this show is designed to give back to those who have accomplished so much. And I know we have our big major celebrities, that
Mhm.
they get a lot of exposure every day. But when I felt like when I was led to do the show, I felt like it was spiritually led to spotlight those who have not quite, gotten to that major platform of success, giving back to the community, and just talented, gifted people. Now, it's not saying that we can't have major national or
Right.
international celebrities on the show, because we've had some pretty big names on the show. Thank you guys so much, like Billy Blanks and Rolanda Watts, and Brick, the legendary R&B band, was on here a few weeks
Mhm.
ago. So we've had some big acts, but we also want to recognize a lot of people doing great things who are not in the spotlight every day. And so it's all about giving back, giving that attention to and recognition to those
Mhm.
team players.
Right. So as you mentioned recognition, can you share a memorable episode that you had or a certain episode that had like a great impact on you, like out of all your 4 years, or like what's one episode that touched you the most? You feel like
It's been quite a few, so
right.
it's a kind of hard one, but can I name like three?
This one, yeah.
I want to say the first one that really got me was Billy Blanks, because I used to, when I lived in Memphis, Tennessee, I had his workout on DVD, and I used to
Okay.
wake up in the mornings and pop in his DVD in my DVD player, and I would do the 45-minute workout, the Taibo fitness workout. And I mean, it really works. I mean, I was lean back then. It really, because you're going to get your sweat in. He's one of the best fitness trainers in history, my opinion. Okay, this is my opinion. So, and he's so nice and so easy to talk to. So to have him on the show, I was very excited. It was such an honor to talk with him. And secondly, I would have to say, it's a toss up between Rolanda Watts, because I remember her career. She was kind of in competition with Oprah. They came out
Mhm.
around the same time. They both were really big talk show hosts at one time, but Oprah just kind of surpassed her. But Rolanda, and she went on. She's an actress as
Right.
well.
Yeah.
So she's really, and the fact that I used to be really active on Clubhouse. Do
Mhm.
you have
Not
that
anymore,
app?
but I
Not
used to.
anymore, me
Which one?
either. Yeah. But yeah, I used to be really active on Clubhouse. And so when they first launched, you could just about talk to any celebrity.
Anybody. Right.
Yeah, it was a real open game like that back then. So that's how I was able to reach out to her, and she agreed to do the show. First, I thought she's not going to show up, but she really showed up. She
Right.
did. And third, I would have to say the legendary R&B group Brick, that I
Mhm.
just interviewed a few weeks ago. Those would be my top three picks.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, great. Um, so any another this question is kind of for me, I guess you could say in a way. Um,
Mhm.
so since you are a CEO and a founder, could you kind of describe or like give some advice to any aspiring podcasters or any entrepreneurs looking to kind of do what you're doing in a way?
Yeah, I would say if you want your own podcast show, it's easy to well, it's like it all starts with the mindset though.
Right.
It's easy to get it done if you're open to it. You don't have to have a lot of equipment and big, fancy cameras unless you want to invest in that type of money. I just use StreamYard. That's my secret. If you download, well, you pay for the monthly membership, StreamYard.com. Voila. And then
Mm-hmm.
just add your own lights, get you a couple of those big umbrella studio lights so you have plenty of light around you, surrounding you, so everyone can see you. Because
Mm-hmm.
I'm so chocolate, so I need lots of light, right? And so, but you can get a banner. Like I had that made, vistaprint.com made the
Mm-hmm.
banner. Um, Amazon, you can order those lights, those umbrella lights, or either now the little smaller light, because I have one that's clipped to my laptop
Okay.
that gives a lot of the LED light. It gives a
Mm-hmm.
lot of light as well. Um, and then just prep, be prepared. Make sure you take care of all your business before the show airs. Confirm and lock in those dates with your guests. You have to communicate and be thorough with your communication. And I use Fiverr for the promo flyers that you see on the internet. Shout out to them because they're very professional. You submit your artwork, and within 24 hours, they have it back to you. And if there's anything wrong with your artwork, they will correct. They'll make up to 3 free corrections, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then get you a good intern student like I have, CARIS Bates. Woo! Yep. So that's my little recipe. Stay at it, whatever you do, even if you're nervous, like I was, and still get nervous sometimes. But just stick with it. Be diligent in your work. Be diligent in your giftings that God has given you. Never downplay what your gifts are. Just because other people don't see your natural giftings, they don't think, well, she all right. She all right. She ain't all that. Okay. Don't
Right.
worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep doing you. Keep pressing towards the mark. And eventually God will, I'm going to borrow one of Lil Wayne's line. Was it Lil Wayne or was it Waka Flocka?
Mm-hmm.
God will make a thunderstorm. Okay. He'll make it rain on you. Okay. Just stick with it and have that, Bishop T.D. Jakes and my former pastors, they have that stick to itness.
Mm-hmm.
He coined that phrase as well. Guys, sometimes I think I'm going to be, I'm getting emotional because sometimes I think I'm going to be a pastor one day.
Mm-hmm.
I love God so much and I love to motivate people. And when I get to talking about God, I get to, I get to welling
Right.
up. Woo! But yeah, I want to see everybody make it. I want everybody to land where God wants them to be. And I know that's getting way off subject, so reel me back in, Paris. I'm going
Right.
off the track.
Okay, good. I have one more question before that. Again, congratulations on 4 years, of course, and hoping for many, 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 many more. But with
Thank
that,
you.
are there any exciting future plans that you have for the podcast, or any guests that you can share that are coming up next for the show, or anything new happening?
Well, I want to say, I guess it's safe to say there's some more. We're going to try to keep going into the 5th year. We're going to try to
Right.
keep bringing in the house going to next year,
Mhm.
July 8th of 2025. That'll be our like 5th year big celebration and go
Mhm.
out with a bang, and
Definitely.
we hope to get some really big names. I'm working with a publicist named Belinda out of Atlanta, Georgia, and she's trying to line up some really exciting guests for us. So hopefully we'll hear from her in the next week or so. Um, Also, Desiree Benson, she's out there in LA. She's a
Mhm.
a really big time publicist. She also sends guests my way from time to time. So we're looking forward to continuing to partner with them, and hopefully we'll launch an internet radio station, and we'll let you run that one, Karis.
Definitely.
Yeah, we'll let you do the assist with the programming and everything like that. Because
Yeah.
when I was around your age, I was being groomed for program director of a radio station. So,
Oh wow.
hmm so I know you can do it too.
Yes,
hmm
ma'am.
Yeah. So we're just about now. We got a few minutes left in the show. In case you guys just tuning in, this is our 4-year anniversary celebration of Bring It in the House podcast show. I'm not the host this time. Karis Bates is the host, and I am in the shoes of the guest.
Right.
So, is there anything else you wanted to ask before we wrap things up?
Now I pretty much asked all my questions for the most part. Was there anything else you wanted to add before we wrap it up? Or
Well, yeah, I kind of just wanted to shout out to my family, my daughter, Maldonado, and my
Mhm.
son in law, Adam Maldonado, my granddaughter, Maya Maldonado. I don't know if they're watching, but I love you guys so much. Um, my sorority sisters around the world, AKA, we love you. My church,
oh,
Shoreline, here in Austin, Texas, Pastor Rob Koch and his wife Lori. They're an amazing team. I've learned so much being a member at that church of the church. I work in the media, department. Well, now they're just saying TV department is what they're
mhm.
calling it now. But I'm very thankful for that. My family, I have first cousins all over pretty much the U.S. Gloria Wheaton in Kansas City,
Mhm.
my nephews, Eugene Gilliam in St. Louis, my cousins in the ATL, Mary White and her family, and my cousins in Detroit and Chicago, and my sister in Minneapolis. Oh, I could go on and on. My cousins in Little Rock. So yeah, it takes everybody working together
Right.
to make someone a success. So everyone I met, Todd Rito, thank you so much for your support um, down through the years. My LB, Robert Claiborne, let me see, who else? Anika Kendrick. Hey, Anika in Dallas. Hey, I'm just giving shout outs to all the people that have been in my life for a long time. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? The UAPB family, all of you guys, Alpha Road chapter, HBCUs across the country, um, KCLT in West Helena, Arkansas. I cannot forget about them because Mr. Raymond Sims,
Mhm.
I think he was the first to give me my full time position in
Oh.
radio. I'm not my intern started at KYDE with Mary Nell Howard, rest in peace. But
Mhm.
as far as my full time was, my full time on air position was with Mr. Sims at KCLT. Now it's called Delta Force 3.
Right.
And then from there, I was able to launch, go on to a bigger station in Memphis, Tennessee, WHRK K97 FM. And from there to Disney in Dallas. And now bring it in the house, Millhouse Entertainment. So I guess that's going to wrap it up. I'm going to let you do it. You got to wrap the show, Karis.
Well, first I want to say thank you to you for allowing me this whole opportunity being an intern, even for tonight's episode, allowing me to interview you and host. And hope I did a good job. Feel like I did okay for my first
Did
time.
great.
And thank you all for viewing and tuning in. And make sure you guys continue to support Miss Millie Mills, and Bring It in the House. And that is it.
All right, you did a great job, and I'm proud of you as always, and thank
Thank
you
you.
for handling things so well. I'm very
Mm-hmm.
proud of you. We'll
Yes,
see you next week. We'll continue to celebrate during the month of July our 4-year
ma'am.
anniversary. Bring it in the house.